What if your home could feel like a quiet Parisian cafe, warm light, soft air, and a calm that wraps around you the moment you walk in? Not from buying anything new. Not from following trends. But from small, thoughtful shifts that whisper elegance into your everyday space. In the United States, most seniors are told to declutter, downsize, or let go. But in France, aging at home is not about removal, it's about refinement. French seniors aren't just organizing their homes, they're shaping them to support memory, emotion, and quiet joy. They don't have bigger houses. Or more money. What they have is a different relationship with space, one that's rooted in intention, not instruction. Their homes don't just look beautiful. They feel like them. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 of their most timeless, transformative secrets, things you can start doing right now to make your home feel softer, richer, and more alive. Which room in your home do you wish felt more peaceful or elegant? Let us know in the comments, we read every single one. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors, where we share simple, graceful ideas for a life that feels full, not just tidy. Colette Bernard was never the type to chase change. At 73, she still lived in the same sun-dappled apartment in Marseille where she'd shared morning coffee, Sunday papers, and quiet laughs with her husband of 42 years. But when he passed, the silence in that space changed. It wasn't just the absence of footsteps, it was the feeling that something essential had gone missing. Not him, his warmth. His presence in the walls. The life they had woven together. She thought about moving. Her daughter gently encouraged her to start fresh. But the truth? Colette wasn't tired of the space itself. She was tired of how lifeless it had started to feel. And she wasn't alone. Many women her age are told to either leave the past behind or renovate until it's unrecognizable. But Colette took another path. With a limited pension and aching joints that made heavy lifting out of the question, she couldn't rip out floors or buy designer furniture. So she asked a different question. What if her home didn't need to change, just come alive again? She began slowly. Not with purchases, but with perception. A single candle beside a photo. A dusty corner cleared and left intentionally empty. The scent of dried thyme warming on the stove. And what happened over the weeks surprised even her closest friends. Visitors stopped by and didn't want to leave. Her grandson called it the softest house. Her neighbors began asking for advice, not on style, but on feeling. What had she done? How did it feel so different? The answer wasn't found in any store. It was found in 10 quiet habits, French by nature, but human at heart. Habits that helped Colette re-enter her own home with a sense of peace, purpose, and quiet joy. And now, she's letting us in on each one. Not because she considers herself an expert, but because she knows the difference between a house that holds you and a house that just stores things. Secret 1. The mirror isn't for vanity, it's for light. Colette never hung mirrors to admire herself. At her age, she'd say with a laugh, "I know what I look like, I want to see the light, not the lines." That mindset? It's deeply French. In many traditional French homes, mirrors aren't used for checking makeup or adjusting ties. They're used as light catchers, tools to gently shift the mood of a room without buying a single thing. In Colette's case, it started with a hallway that always felt too dark. It made her uneasy to walk through at night, even with a lamp. So she placed a long, slim mirror directly across from the front window. The next morning, something changed. The soft light poured in, hit the mirror, and bounced back into the space like a gentle second sunrise. The hallway didn't just look brighter, it felt warmer, safer, and somehow more open. This trick isn't about decorating. It's about support. As we age, our eyesight shifts. Our depth perception gets trickier. Dim corners can feel disorienting, even a little isolating. But placing a mirror strategically, especially across from a window or near a lamp, can instantly spread natural or warm artificial light into the parts of your home that need it most. And this simple shift also alters how we experience space. French seniors often live in tight quarters, tiny kitchens, narrow bedrooms, but they rarely feel cramped. Why? Because mirrors double what's already there. A mirror across from a bookshelf makes it look like a mini library. One near a curtain dances with the breeze. It expands not just the room, but the rhythm inside it. If you've got a mirror sitting in a closet or a thrift one leaning against a wall, try this. Place it where it can capture light, not just your face. Even a hallway, laundry nook, or breakfast corner can feel transformed when touched by light that wasn't there before. Have you ever tried this in your home? Or is there a spot that could use a little brightness? Let us know in the comments. And if you try it this week, we'd love to hear how it changes the feel of your space. Secret 2. Everyday items on display, but only one per room. Colette's home was never sterile or showroom perfect. It breathed with life, real, lived-in, quiet life. But there was something subtle you'd notice as you walked from room to room. In each space, only one everyday item was left intentionally visible. Nothing more. In her kitchen, a hand-carved wooden spoon rested in a small ceramic pot near the stove. In the bedroom, a neatly folded nightgown sat on the corner chair. In the entryway, her umbrella leaned against a wicker stand, next to a single pair of polished flats. These weren't decorations. They were tools. But they were chosen and placed with care. And they told a story of rhythm, of presence, of attention. Many French seniors follow a similar principle. It's called intentional visibility. Instead of hiding away every practical item or leaving everything out in disarray, they choose one daily use object per room to remain in sight. Something they touch often, something that represents their life, simple, essential, and dignified. This creates a home that feels real but never messy. Warm but never overwhelming. Each room holds a single focal point, a useful item, honored instead of hidden. In American homes, clutter often builds from items left just for now. Glasses, keys, papers, socks, mugs, all gathering without purpose. But when you choose just one to remain visible and clear the rest, something shifts. Your surfaces breathe. Your focus sharpens. And your space begins to reflect intention, not accident. This doesn't require any money. Just awareness. Walk through your home today and ask, what item in this room do I use every day? Which one object tells my story here? Leave that one out, and store the others with care. What would you choose to leave visible in your favorite room? Share it with us in the comments below. We'd love to know the little objects that make your space feel like home. Secret 3. Scents that whisper, not shout. When Colette opens her linen cabinet, a soft trace of dried lavender greets her, never overwhelming, just enough to remind her of the fields outside her childhood home. Her kitchen sometimes carries the gentle aroma of simmering rosemary or lemon peels, not because she's cooking, but because she drops them into a pot of water on the stove and lets it gently steam in the background. French seniors rarely use synthetic air fresheners or strong scented sprays. Instead, they fill their homes with what they call fragrance with memory, scents that come from nature, from heritage, from warmth. And they do it without cluttering the air. Lavender tucked into linen drawers. Cloves pressed into oranges during winter months. A sachet of dried herbs slipped into a coat closet. Even a sprig of thyme laid casually near the sink. These aren't just charming traditions, they're quiet tools for emotional well-being. Research continues to show how scent directly affects our mood and memory. For seniors, this becomes even more important. A calming scent can help ease anxiety. A familiar one can trigger powerful, positive memories. And soft, natural aromas, unlike chemical sprays, don't overstimulate aging senses. Colette believes scents should be discovered, not announced. If it walks ahead of you, she says, it's not for a home. It's for a store. There's something beautifully human about walking into a room and noticing a scent after you've settled in. It slows you down. It connects you to the present. And in a world that often rushes seniors into minimalism without mindfulness, it's a way to simplify with soul. Want to try this? Simmer a handful of rosemary and lemon slices on your stove for 10 minutes. Let the steam rise quietly. Or tuck a lavender pouch between your pillowcase and pillow, no perfume needed. Have you already used natural scents in your home? Or is there a childhood smell you'd love to bring back? Tell us in the comments, We'd love to know which fragrance whispers home to you. Secret 4. The art of negative space. When visitors enter Colette's living room, they often pause, not because of what's there, but because of what's not. A shelf left completely bare. A wide patch of wall with no art. A tabletop with only a candle in the center. In American homes, this might feel unfinished. But in French homes, especially among older generations, this is a form of grace. It's called livable, the void. But it's not about emptiness. It's about deliberate stillness. A space that isn't asking anything of you. A corner that doesn't need to explain itself. A shelf that breathes. Colette didn't always live this way. She once filled every surface with keepsakes, books, plants, reminders of her past. But after her husband died, she felt suffocated, not by memories, but by noise. Visual noise. She began clearing, gently, one item at a time, until one day, a shelf stood bare. And strangely, it didn't feel lonely. It felt kind. As we age, our minds crave clarity. But so often, our homes pull us in every direction. Too many colors, objects, tasks staring back at us. French seniors understand that leaving space isn't wasteful. It's generous. It gives the eyes a place to rest and the heart a place to slow down. This principle transforms not only how your home looks, but how you feel inside it. Less clutter equals less decision-making. Less visual demand equals more emotional ease. Try it yourself today. Walk into a room and find just one shelf, table, or corner. Clear it. Completely. Not to put something new there, but to leave it blank. Then sit with it. How does it feel? At first, you might feel uncomfortable, like something is missing. But let it settle. Let the quiet grow. Over time, you may discover that livable isn't a lack at all, it's a gift. What space in your home could you give back to stillness? Share it with us in the comments below. We'd love to hear how your home feels when it finally exhales. Secret 5. A living library, not cluttered stacks. In Colette's home, books are never forgotten. But they are curated, not hoarded, not buried under dust, not used as filler on overcrowded shelves. They live. They breathe. They rotate. And most importantly, they mean something. She doesn't keep books just because she's owned them for years. She keeps them if they shaped her. One from her 20s when she first questioned the world. One from midlife that helped her navigate loss. One that still sits open by her armchair because she's not done learning. In many French homes, especially among seniors, books are treated not as objects, but as companions. And like all good companionship, it evolves. They don't try to own everything they've read. They let books come and go, like seasons, like chapters. Colette's library is small, but alive. In the spring, she might bring out poetry that reminds her of fresh starts. In the fall, she reaches for memory, the books that make her think of family, firelight, and change. And in between, she lets her shelves breathe. Never packed. Never dusty. Just enough. This mindset shifts how seniors can experience their space. Instead of treating books like clutter or trophies, they become living markers of identity, anchors of where you've been, what you've survived, and what still moves you. Try this. Walk through your home and choose just 3 books that represent who you are in different chapters of your life. One from your youth. One from a turning point. And one that still challenges or comforts you now. Place them somewhere visible, on a side table, your nightstand, or near your favorite chair. Maybe add a dried flower, a photo, or a note in the margins. Let that little stack become a conversation between past you, present you, and the you still unfolding. What are the 3 books that shaped your journey? Share them in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to open a page they've forgotten. Secret 6. Evening light should never be blue. As the sun sets in Colette's apartment, something subtle but powerful happens. She moves through the rooms, switching off overhead lights and turning on small amber lamps. A soft, golden glow begins to settle over the space. By the time she pours her evening tea, the entire home feels slower, quieter, almost like it's exhaling with her. This isn't just about ambience. It's a habit practiced by many French seniors who understand the relationship between light and the body's rhythm. Harsh white or blue-toned light, the kind many Americans leave on in kitchens, hallways, or living rooms, keeps the brain alert. It signals wakefulness, stress, and even tension. But warm light, soft yellows, gentle oranges, even flickering candlelight, tells your body a different story. It whispers that it's time to rest, to soften, to settle. For older adults, this matters more than ever. Blue light, especially in the evening, has been shown to disrupt melatonin production, interfere with sleep cycles, and make it harder to fully wind down. Over time, this affects not just sleep quality, but also mood, cognition, and even physical coordination. Colette didn't learn this from a medical journal. She learned it from her grandmother, who used oil lamps at dusk and always said, "The house must get sleepy with you." That wisdom now carries over in her small home, where no light is allowed to glare, and every corner invites stillness. There's also a safety benefit that many seniors overlook: soft lighting at floor level, like a lamp on a low table or a small plug-in nightlight, helps your eyes adjust gradually and improves depth perception at night. This reduces the risk of nighttime falls, which become more common with age. Try this tonight. Turn off your bright overheads an hour before bed. Use a small table lamp with a warm-toned bulb. Even better, light a single unscented candle during your evening routine. Watch how your body responds. How do you light your home at night, and does it help you feel truly at rest? Let us know in the comments below. Sometimes the smallest glow changes everything. Secret 7. Table rituals that anchor the day. Every morning, just before her tea finishes steeping, Colette unfolds a linen napkin and places it beside her plate. Not a paper towel. Not a plastic tray in front of the television. A real napkin. A ceramic dish. A small vase with a clipped sprig of rosemary from her windowsill. She lives alone. No guests are coming. But she sets the table anyway, not for appearance, but for presence. In French culture, meals are not rushed through or done distractedly. They are treated as daily rituals of grounding, a pause in time, a return to self. And that doesn't end with age or solitude. For many French seniors, the act of setting the table is less about food and more about restoring a sense of dignity and rhythm to the day. This is one of the most overlooked habits that quietly transforms how seniors experience their space. The table isn't just a place to eat. It becomes a center of calm, a cue to slow down, to sit upright, to breathe. And surprisingly, it affects far more than just mood. Studies have shown that seniors who eat at a proper table, without screens, in a thoughtfully prepared setting, are more likely to eat nutritious meals, chew more thoroughly, feel more satisfied, and report lower levels of loneliness. Even if the meal is simple. Even if the room is quiet. Colette says the table reminds her she's worth the effort, even when no one's watching. You don't need a fancy setting. A folded cloth napkin. A favorite mug. A candle lit just for you. These small touches create emotional structure, especially helpful for those who've retired, lost a partner, or feel the days running together. Try it this week. Clear the table. Sit down. No TV. No rushing. Just you, your meal, and a bit of care. Do you already do this? Or has your table become another surface for clutter? Let us know in the comments. A single meal, set with intention, might change the feel of your entire home. Secret 8. Storage as a secret, not a showcase. Step into Colette's home and you'll notice something curious. There's almost nothing out. No plastic bins lining the hallway. No see-through containers stacked in corners. No piles of essentials waiting to be organized someday. And yet, she has everything she needs. The secret? Her storage doesn't shout. It whispers. In true French fashion, Colette stores her items with quiet elegance. A stack of letters is tucked inside an old hat box under the sideboard. Her winter scarves are wrapped in linen sacks that slide neatly into a trunk at the foot of her bed. Even her cleaning supplies live inside a vintage basket behind a closet door, completely functional, but never on display. French seniors understand something subtle but powerful. When everything is visible, nothing feels restful. The mind sees every item left out as something that must be dealt with, solved, or moved. Over time, this visual noise builds into mental fatigue, especially in small spaces where every inch counts. Colette once said, "It's not about hiding things. It's about letting the room breathe." She doesn't aim for perfection. She just believes that everyday items deserve a place, and that place is out of sight, but never out of mind. This doesn't require custom cabinetry or expensive organizers. It simply takes thoughtfulness. Could your batteries live in a repurposed cookie tin instead of a plastic drawer? Could your dog's leash hang behind a cabinet door, rather than on the doorknob? Could you keep your daily use items close, but invisible? Even in tight spaces, there are hidden pockets, under chairs, inside benches, behind cupboard doors, waiting to become restful storage. The more you clear your surfaces, the more the room begins to feel intentional, not chaotic. What's one visible item in your home that could quietly disappear into a beautiful container, drawer, or box? Share it in the comments, and see what peace it brings when your space no longer has to explain itself. Secret 9. Tiny Vinests, not decor overload. Colette doesn't decorate her home to impress. She decorates to remember. And the way she does it is so quiet, you might miss it unless you look closely. Near her windowsill sits a tiny arrangement, a black and white photograph of her mother, a dried lavender sprig, and a small stone her grandson once gave her. That's it. No large floral centerpieces, no theme displays, no busy shelving full of trinkets. Just a tiny story in a quiet corner. In France, many seniors treat their homes like journals. Not filled with loud decor or cluttered shelves, but with vignettes, small, curated moments that speak. A ticket stub in a frame. A handwritten letter beside a candle. A single antique brooch laid on velvet inside a shadow box. These displays aren't about matching a color scheme or keeping up with trends. They're about telling the truth of a life lived. For older adults, especially those downsizing or transitioning into quieter spaces, this approach offers something deeply freeing. You don't have to give up meaning. You just have to curate it. Instead of crowding your shelves with everything you've collected, choose 2 or 3 items that speak to a specific memory, and let them breathe. The beauty of vignettes is that they don't take up space, they create it. They give your home rhythm. Your eye knows where to land. Your heart knows what it's looking at. And every room begins to carry a quiet narrative. Colette rotates her vignettes seasonally. In the fall, a pressed leaf joins the photo. In spring, a pale ribbon replaces the stone. It keeps her home in motion, just like her memories. Want to try it? Walk through your space and find one surface to clear, completely. Then, slowly place just 2 or 3 objects that carry emotional weight. Arrange them with intention. And step back. What's your favorite corner in your home, and what story could it tell with just a few chosen objects? Share your ideas in the comments below. You might be surprised how little it takes to make a space feel like you. Secret 10. The home has sound, and it shouldn't be the TV. Every morning, before she makes tea, Colette opens the window just slightly, enough to let in the soft hum of the world outside. Then, instead of turning on the television, she presses play on an old jazz playlist. Sometimes it's instrumental piano. Sometimes it's the sound of distant birds or a Paris cafe in the rain. But it's never the TV. Not first thing. Not all day. For many seniors, the television becomes background noise. It stays on, not because it's being watched, but because silence feels too still. But over time, that digital chatter, news cycles, loud commercials, constant dialogue, can raise cortisol levels, spike anxiety, and disrupt mental focus without us even realizing it. In French homes, especially among older generations, background sound is intentional. It isn't there to distract, it's there to set a tone. Soft music, nature sounds, even just the faint tick of an old wall clock. These details aren't random. They shape the mood of the room and the rhythm of the day. Colette says music helps her home wake up gently. It gives her something beautiful to move with while she makes her bed or waters her plants. And at night, she switches to slower melodies, helping her wind down without overstimulating her nervous system. There's science behind it. 2. Studies show that seniors who listen to calming, non-verbal soundscapes during the day experience lower blood pressure, better sleep, and reduced feelings of isolation. Curated sound brings companionship without chaos. Try this. Turn off the TV for one afternoon. Choose soft instrumental music or ambient sounds that soothe you. Let them fill your space while you cook, read, or just sit quietly. Notice how the energy in your home begins to shift, not louder, but more alive. What's playing in your home right now? Is it supporting your peace, or just filling silence? Let us know in the comments. A simple sound swap might be the secret your space has been waiting for. Colette never changed homes. She didn't have the budget for a remodel. She didn't chase minimalist trends or spend weekends shopping for new furniture. But over time, something in her space began to shift, and it wasn't the square footage. It was the feeling. With each quiet ritual, her home became more alive. Not busier, not trendier, but more present. Her bookshelf no longer groaned with forgotten titles, it invited reflection. Her dining table, once cluttered, now greeted her each morning with quiet ceremony. Even the corners of her rooms began to speak, softly but clearly. This wasn't about decorating. It was about connecting. For years, Colette had treated her home like a container, a place to hold things, store memories, shelter from the outside. But something changed when she began treating it like a companion. A space to listen to care for, to be in relationship with. One decision at a time, she made her home feel like her, not just a reflection of her past, but a support for who she was becoming. And the most beautiful part? She didn't need more. She simply used what she had, with intention, with emotion, and with the quiet confidence that her space could evolve as she did. So if your home has started to feel too full, too quiet, too lost in routine, let this be your gentle nudge. You don't need to renovate. You don't need to start over. You just need to look around, with new eyes. And maybe choose one corner, one shelf, one moment to begin again. Because a home over 60 isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to feel true. If even one of Colette's habits made you pause today, if you saw your own space a little differently, tap the like button. Let us know which ritual spoke to you in the comments. And subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors for more soulful ways to fall in love with your home, one day, and one decision at a time.